Welcome to Driller on Location. Driller here on this beautiful fall day. Guess where I am? I'm at our home away from home. American Family Field, formerly known as Miller Park. Thought I'd share a couple of the cool things about the park on the outside. I did shoot a bunch of footage last year, but it was ruined and lost when my laptop died, I guess you could say. So let's take a look. Coming up on the team store. It's open year-round, as well as the restaurant, the now named the Leinenkugel's Barrel Yard, and they just opened a X-Golf simulator in the building. Haven't done it yet, but I will be soon. All right, guys, right here we have the closest thing to a Milwaukee Braves museum, I guess you could say, that's official in Milwaukee, which is pretty pathetic if you ask me. It's the Braves Wall of Honor, and I'm going to get close here and show you what it's all about. It's our plaque commemorating Braves here, 1953 to 65. If you want to pause to read, go for it. And got quite a few players commemorated here with plaques. Warren Spahn in the house. Starting down here, got Bobby Thompson. Andy Pafko. Bob Uecker action. Johnny Logan. Felix Mantilla. Hank Aaron, one of the greatest to ever play the game, if you ask me. Eddie Matthews, of course. Frank Torrey, brother of Joe, of course. Del Crandall. Gene Conley. Joe Adcock. Joe Torrey. Red Schoendeist. Lou Burdett. I don't know how many people know his name is actually Selva. Interesting. And you got Billy Bruton, Bob Buell, Frank Bowling, Bob Hazel, the Hurricane, and Wes Covington. And the last plaque they have on this wall is, of course, the 57 champion Braves. Take a look at that. Very awesome. Our Brewers Wall of Honor. And it's actually extended to 2 more sections. I'll go through this pretty quick. These are not necessarily Hall of Famers, but guys that meant a lot to the Brewers teams over the years. Let's get closer. Of course, we got Bud Selig, the man responsible for bringing pro baseball back to Milwaukee. Former commissioner as well, along with Ken Sanders. And there's Bob Uecker again, my personal buddy, and Dave May. Darrell Porter, George Scott, Johnny Briggs, Jim Colburn. And we've got Hank Aaron, who played for 2 seasons basically with the Brewers. It's cool. Bill Travers. And we've got Bill Castro, Jim Slayton, Sixto Lezcano, Harvey Keane of the infamous Harvey's Wallbangers. Very awesome. Don Money, Sal Bando. Jerry Augustine and Mr. Match Game Don Sutton. Mike Caldwell. Moose Haas. There's the Raleigh Fingers. Charlie Moore. Hall of Famers right there. Another Hall of Famer, Ted Simmons. And Stormin Gorman, Thomas. He still makes appearances every once in a while here. And we've got Bob McClure and Pete Vukovich. And for those of you that don't know, he actually played Clu Haywood in Major League. Not really known for hitting home runs as he was a pitcher, but cool nonetheless. Two of my personal favorites growing up, Ben Ogilvy and Cecil Cooper. And on over, we got Gumby, Jim Gantner, and Molly, another Hall of Famer. Awesome. And then Mr. Strikeout, Rob Deere, Chuck Krim. Remember, growing up, I probably got at least half of these guys' autographs outside the old stadium after the game. At least half of them. Very cool. On to the next part. All right, moving on here. Chris Bazio. I didn't get his autograph, but he decided to put a shoulder into me. Pass by me. What a jerk. Hall of Famer Robin Yount. Awesome guy, great signer back then. Nowadays, I heard he's kind of the opposite, but still, the kid is the kid. Awesome. Dan Plesac, who many may know now as the one of the hosts on MLB Tonight on the MLB Network. Bill Wegman, DJ Surhoff, Greg Vaughn. Our personal Fernando Valenzuela, Teddy Higuera, Darrell Hamilton. Darrell Hamilton was a nice guy. So was Vaughny and Surhoff. Kevin Seitzer, Mike Fetters, Pat Listash, who was Rookie of the Year in '92, if I remember right. I got his auto that year. I still have it. John Jaha. And then we're going to get closer to more recent guys. Jose Valentin, Fernando Vina, Cal Eldred, Dave Nielsen was an Australian catcher. He was awesome for us. Jamie Navarro, Jeremy Burnitz. Bernie was awesome. He was a fun player. Nice guy. Mark Loretta and Bob Wickman. Jeff Cirillo, Ben Sheets, Richie Sexton, Jeff Jenkins, Bill Hall, and Bill Schroeder. He's actually our hometown Brewers announcer, one of the announcers of our games. He was cool when he was a player, nice guy, and he's cool now. He's the original Rock. And then our current manager, of course, Craig Counsell, and my wife's favorite from back in the day, Corey Hart. And then on to the next one. All right, here we go. We got Harry Dalton and Prince Fielder, of course. It's a shame his career ended the way it did. And it's really awesome, I think, that he and his father ended with the exact same amount of home runs for their careers. Pretty cool. Then we got Doug Melvin, longtime GM. J.J. Hardy. Another Hall of Famer over here, Trevor Hoffman. And K-Rod, Francisco Rodriguez. Oh, another one of my favorites playing here, Ricky Weeks. He was awesome. I liked him. Giovanni Gallardo. I actually was here when he pitched his first game. He actually hit a home run too. It was awesome. And then the last three are going to be Carlos Gomez, Jonathan Lucroy, and Ryan Braun, former MVP, or as I used to say back in the day, MVPED. All right, Bronny was clutch when he needed to be, and that's all I got to say about that. All right, on to some more cool stuff. And this is the first of 4 statues here on the outside. This is Alan Bud Selig. And like I said earlier, this is the guy responsible for bringing pro baseball back to Milwaukee. He was totally heartbroken after the Braves left town and when the Pilots went bankrupt, and he did whatever it took to bring the Seattle Pilots to Milwaukee. So we're forever, in my opinion, in debt to him, regardless of what we think about him as a commissioner and whatnot. I'm really not going to get into that, but I'm going to go ahead and get a close-up of the plaque. So if you want to pause and read that, do that. On to the next one. And the next one is by far one of my favorites. This is a statue of Hank Aaron. And if you don't know who Hank Aaron is, I'm not going to explain it. It's just, I'm just going to shake my head and say that's pretty messed up. Awesome player, one of the best of all time, if you ask me. Like I said about his plaques, I'm going to come in closer so you can kind of see. Rest in peace, sir. He's got his stats. Very cool. You can pause to read if you want. Very cool. On to the next one. All right, another statue here of the Kid, Robin Yount. One of my favorite brewers of all time. Former 2-time MVP, Hall of Famer. Very cool. I'll move in on this plaque. Pause to read if necessary, if you need to. Very cool. And he played for the Brewers his whole career. You don't find that nowadays, players and free agency. If I remember right, he was 18 when he started too. Played here for 20 years. I met him quite a few times, got his autograph. Really nice guy when he was a player, but like I said earlier, I've heard the opposite about how he is now. But you know, we all get grumpier when we get older. That's just the way it is. Still one of the best. All right, next one. And the second to last statue I'll show is Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker. And if you don't know who Bob Uecker is, it's a good thing I'm going to zoom in on this plaque. Love his call. Mr. Baseball's legendary radio broadcaster for the Milwaukee Brewers. He actually is 89 years old, and hopefully he'll be coming back for next season. He'll be actually 90 years old, which I find amazing in itself. Fan of his call, fan of what he's done with the Brewers, fan of the game, him being a fan of the game. Not the greatest person, but you know what? It doesn't matter at this point. So I'll zoom in over here on this. Uke. You can pause to read if you need to. All right, on to the last one. This is a statue that's dedicated to all the workers that helped build this field, this stadium. and the 3 workers that died in the crane accident, Big Blue crashing. And they're absolutely right. Teamwork makes the dream work. That's for sure. And then here we've got a wall. It's a Miller Park Heroes. These are all people that donated to the stadium. Large donations. I'm not going to get too close to it. And there's a little bit more. This is a plaque of commemorating the 1901 Milwaukee Brewers of the American League. Pretty cool if you ask me. And pause if you want to read that. A lot of history there. On to the little stadium if I can get to it. What's cool is they've got a little kids play area in the just beyond the outfield of the stadium. Not the stadium, but the Little League field, I should say. So if the kids that aren't playing can come out here and have a good time, it's pretty awesome. And this is what's known as Hellfair Field. It's pretty awesome. And where home plate is over there, that's where the home plate was for our old stadium, County Stadium. It's nice. Game days, there'll be Little League games going on here before the Brewers games. Some nice little seating areas over there and over here. That's cool. Yeah, nothing like this when I was a kid. And there's a little scoreboard. Let's see if we can get a shot of it. It's getting kind of bright out here. And then, of course, like I said, the play area. Very cool. All right, well, that just about wraps this one up. Driller on location. Out.
Viva Piston!
Well,